So evidently this is a movie channel now. We recently talked about Mortal Kombat 1995, the fine film that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I just felt like talking about it. I hope you guys liked that video. I figured it was kind of evergreen. I didn't look at the views on it because I assumed they were terrible because nobody would care. But the more I talk about video game related properties outside of video games themselves, I think the more interest will kind of garner here on the channel. Now, the Hollywood and video game crossover stuff isn't anything that's entirely new. It started in the late 80s, kind of picked up a lot of steam in the early 90s because of the rising success of video games. And video games really needed Hollywood at that time in order to get their message of video games out there. When you think about how many properties were being utilized for cartoons or movies, it was pretty astounding. We of course had Sonic the Hedgehog. We had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. There was 2 Mario Brothers shows. There were 2 Sonic the Hedgehog shows. There was a Super Mario Brothers movie. There was Captain N. There was a lot of stuff happening because of the rising success of the video game industry. And the video game industry wanted to become a more sort of, world recognized thing instead of just more of a niche thing like a lot of entertainment was at that time. Of course, as time has gone on, the video game industry now trumps the Hollywood industry as far as films are concerned. The video game medium is the biggest entertainment medium in the world. Look it up if you don't believe me. And we're now starting to see a resurgence of video game related content once again, but this is more so Hollywood wanting to take advantage of the video game industry, as the video game industry is on the rise and Hollywood not so much. We of course recently had the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. Way better. Whoever likes the one with Dennis Hopper and stuff in it, like, it's not a Mario movie. It really has nothing to do with Mario. It's not a good movie. Maybe if it was like nostalgia glasses. I never had nostalgia for that movie. I watched that movie recently. It was terrible. If this video does well, maybe I'll make a video review of that movie because it sucks. But the new one was great. Even with Chris Pratt, it's like, oh, how's he gonna talk about, how's he gonna be Mario? He's not from Brooklyn, but like it worked. Everything in that movie worked, and I thought it was a really well done movie, and it seems like movie goers appreciated that as well. Look at the amount of money and revenue that this has generated. It's the second highest grossing animated film of all time, with just Frozen ahead of it. Suck on that, Mickey Mouse. Nintendo's here to kick your ass. But of course, with success comes other ventures, because now you're starting to look at the landscape and be like, hey, we're pretty powerful in this. Nintendo has to look at this from a perspective of, you're pretty powerful within this media realm now. You could sort of extend beyond things than just video games, because you are powerful. You obviously have some pull, and people are interested in the product that you're bringing to the table in terms of movies. But now it seems like Nintendo is about to expand and maybe even make a bit of a bigger splash in the Hollywood medium by making more movies and potentially making a universe with this. Now, this information is coming to us involving The Legend of Zelda, and it appears that a Legend of Zelda movie has already potentially leaked. Now, this report is coming to us from Go Nintendo via the Hot Mic podcast via comicbook.com. I don't really like comicbook.com. I don't know what the Hot Mic podcast is. I'm still relatively new into the world of film, so, bear with me here, but I do recognize Go Nintendo. Shout outs to Kevin over there. But this is a report that comes from Jeff Snyder, a reporter and film critic, speaking on the most recent episode of the Hot Mic podcast. According to Snyder, Universal Pictures is in talks with Nintendo to produce a Legend of Zelda animated movie. In fact, he indicates that they are pretty close to closing a big deal and refers to the project as potentially being the next big Illumination Nintendo franchise. Now, obviously when you have success, like I said, with the Super Mario Brothers movie, you're going to start exploring other things. And when you look at The Legend of Zelda right now, it is at its peak as far as fandom is concerned. Like, it's always been a popular franchise among Nintendo fans, but it was sort of bridging that gap and getting possibly non-Nintendo fans interested in it. And Breath of the Wild, managed to do that. Breath of the Wild was killer in terms of sales, in terms of revenue generated, in terms of increasing the brand. You look at Tears of the Kingdom, it's outpacing Breath of the Wild right now. Will it be able to sustain this momentum? Who's really to say? But obviously both of these games are selling incredibly well. Tears of the Kingdom will continue to sell incredibly well, and it's an incredible game, much better than Breath of the Wild in my opinion. But when you have this property that's at its absolute peak, you obviously want to capitalize on this, and it makes sense for them to do a Zelda related movie. In some terms, I do sort of question a lot of things, going on with this. Like, obviously this is saying that it's going to be an animated movie. Some people were hoping that it would be, you know, sort of a live action movie with different actors and actresses, you know, actually portraying these roles of, you know, Link and Ganondorf and Zelda. And, you know, I don't know how you do a lot of the enemies, you know, I guess CGI or something, but you know, they wanted that. But going with an animated route, you sort of have to be a little bit worried because of the "excuse me, princess."
Hey, excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess.
And obviously Link had a voice in that. It was terrible. You know, those cutscenes aged like freaking rotted milk, like not even like fresh milk. Like the milk was already rotted, and then they just like aged it out some more because they were disgusting. Like those are not good looking cutscenes. Those are not good voice acting. But obviously video games have come, you know, quite a bit further beyond that. But you have to question, what are you doing for Link's voice? I think you can always, you know, create a voice for the other characters. And most of the other characters have voices now. Like Zelda has a voice. Ganondorf has a voice. But you could always just, you know, a light feminine, you know, possibly English accent for Zelda works. Like it seems to fit with the character who, you know, has a badass edge to her, but she's obviously, you know, a bit of, she's a princess. Like, you know, obviously she's going to sort of talk with a bit of decorum like a princess would. Ganondorf, you know, you just have a grizzly sort of gruff, you know, voice actor. Oh, I'm Ganondorf. Like you could totally do that. Christian Bale could do it with his stupid Batman voice. That's Batman. Shut up. Batman does not talk like he needs a lozenge. Ganondorf does. Makes more sense for Ganondorf. But what the hell do you do with Link? Because while it works in video games, you can't have this one-sided juxtaposition of a dialogue consistently happening in a movie. Like, I guess you could, but it just doesn't make sense because when you're playing a video game as Link, you are Link. So, you know, when you're talking to someone, you could sort of assume what Link is going to be saying because you are playing that character. You are in control of this character. You're not going to be in control of this character within this animated film. So how do you bring Link to life in terms of a voice? Like, same thing with Mario. You know, Mario, people wanted Charles Martinet, but at least there's been Mario related stuff. Like Mario, yeah, he hasn't really talked in games. Like I get that, but there was the other animated series with Captain Lou Albano. Like there is sort of a precedent, at least somewhat, for people to have a voice for Mario because you've heard sort of a voice for Mario. With Link, you've heard like what are you doing with that? It'll be a bit of an interesting mountain to climb, but I definitely think that this information is valid because let's just say this, even if this information, this Jeff Snyder individual, let's say that Jeff Snyder doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know. He could be like the Samus Hunter of movie stuff and just pull stuff out of his ass and then, you know, just common sense things, because this to me is a very common sense thing. Nintendo obviously wants to expand their universe for video games. They obviously want to expand their universe for film and entertainment. That's why you have things like Nintendo theme parks coming up now and stuff. They want to become a dominant brand as far as entertainment is concerned, not necessarily just the video game medium, because you can make good money doing that sort of stuff. Hollywood needs people like Nintendo to reinvigorate it. Like I said, the Super Mario Brothers movie, the second highest grossing animated film of all time. Already, there's still plenty of time for it to catch. I think Frozen is #1. I've never watched Frozen, but I know the let it go, like I don't know. I guess it's like a princess on ice. I don't know. Frozen, ice, is the girl princess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't watch a lot of newer Disney stuff. Give me Aladdin. Give me original Aladdin. Give me original Lion King. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. Like, that's good stuff to me. But yeah, I think that a Legend of Zelda movie is indeed coming. I think Jeff Snyder does know what he's talking about. Because even if he doesn't know what he's talking about, you could completely Samus Hunter this and just make an educated guess and say, hey, they're probably making a Zelda movie, and it's probably true. But how it'll work out, that really remains to be seen. How do you bring this Link character's voice to life? Because obviously it's a very delicate situation. You know, it's very delicate in terms of how he talks is going to be delicate, because Mario, you never really worry about the story in a Mario game. You're constantly worrying about a story in a Legend of Zelda game. But I'm just kind of rambling now. Let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below. Are you looking forward to the inevitable Legend of Zelda film? Are you surprised that it's going to be animated instead of in real time like some people were hoping for? I just think it makes sense with the Illumination, you know, collaboration going on right now. And what are your favorite video game movies of all time? Let me know in the comment section down below. Mortal Kombat 1995 better be on your list too, or something. Come for you. And pause. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share, hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.